I became my abusive ex's emergency contact to ruin his life in ways he never saw coming. When I finally escaped Jake, after 3 years, I left with 2 broken ribs, a restraining order, and his promise that I'll always find a way back to you. What I didn't mention to anyone, parent, not the police, not my therapist, not even my sister who helped me move across state, parent, was that I'd added one crucial detail to my exit plan. I remained Jake's emergency contact on every medical form he had. It wasn't difficult. Jake never bothered with paperwork. During our relationship, I'd filled out everything from his insurance applications to his gym membership. He simply signed without reading, trusting me completely with the administrative details of his life. The day I left, I had already updated his emergency contact information at his doctor's office, his dentist, his workplace, and even his CrossFit gym. I listed me, Spurred, and only me, Pert, as the person to call when something went wrong. The first call came 3 months after I'd disappeared from his life. I was starting to rebuild in a small apartment 2 states away, dyeing my hair, working remotely, and sleeping through the night for the first time in years. Miss Richardson, this is Memorial Hospital. Jacob Turner has been admitted following a car accident. You are listed as his emergency contact. I listened calmly as the nurse explained. Jake had wrapped his car around a tree, part drunk driving, of course. He was stable but unconscious. I told the nurse I'd be there right away, knowing I had no intention of coming within 100 miles of him. Instead, I called his mother, Perton, the woman who'd seen my bruises and told me to try harder to keep him happy. Taryn, and mentioned casually that I'd heard Jake was in the hospital, but I wasn't sure which one. She hadn't been notified yet when Jake woke up alone with his mother raging about being left out of the loop. I imagined his confusion. The hospital had called me, Parrot, his records confirmed it turned it, but I hadn't come. His first lesson in abandonment. The calls continued over the next year, his dentist's office checking if he wanted to reschedule the appointment he missed, the allergist confirming his prescription, renewal parity which I declined to authorize, his workplace heater calling about incomplete insurance forms that needed immediate attention, front which I promised to handle and never did. Each time I'd redirect, delay, or simply ignore the request. Nothing illegal, Pertil. I never impersonated him or made medical decisions. I simply failed to relay information or acted as an unreliable messenger. When his gym called about an unpaid membership fee that was about to go to collections, I helpfully updated his address, Pernt, to his ex-best friend's house, the one he'd had a violent falling out with years ago. 6 months and Jake figured out something was wrong. He started updating his contact information, but he missed places. So did his student loan servicer and his primary care doctor. The masterpiece of my plan came when he applied for a new apartment. The property management company called me as his listed reference. I was polite, professional, and devastating. Jake Turner, yes, I know him well. I recommend checking the public records for case number 47,291B before making your decision. His domestic violence case number, perfectly legal to reference. Last week, Pernt, 14 months after I left Part, the final call came. Jake had been taken to the ER with severe chest pain. The nurse sounded urgent. For a moment, I felt a twinge of the old fear, the reflex to rush to his side. Instead, I said, I am sorry, you must have the wrong number. I don't know anyone by that name. As I hung up, I realized Jake was experiencing exactly what he'd put me through. The slow, invisible erosion of stability and safety, the constant, unpredictable failures of his support system, the gradual undermining of his life's foundation. I've since moved again and changed my number. I don't know if Jake survived that trip to the ER, and I don't need to know. My therapist says my obsession with his suffering isn't healthy. That true healing means letting go completely. She's probably right, but sometimes when I wake up without flinching, when I speak without measuring my words, when I exist without fear, pardon, I think about those emergency contact forms and smile. Sometimes justice doesn't look like a courtroom verdict. Sometimes it looks like bureaucratic chaos,